Hello everybody, welcome back. You join me on yet again another Lucent Moon here. I seem to be jumping between Lucent Moon, Cyan, Shanghai, just all the time, it seems. It feels like. Shanghai was a really good ship, um, but it was a bit too much, um, too much wrapped up in one asset when I really did not need it. Now, Lucent Moon itself is the same way, except for now there's a reason to actually own a Lucent Moon. That being said, it would be the Sansha stuff. The Sansha event has opened up various opportunities for ships like Lucent Moon, Shanghai, Cyan to sort of go back to back with each other and really get a feel of what each ship is capable of. And Lucent Moon has really outshined all of its opponents. In various fits, actually. In this case, we're going to be flying the lightweight ship Lucent Moon. You'll see I'm here in forward because I'm going to show off the Sun Chaser. Lightweight ship Lucent Moon means we're going to be having these lightweight Corax offenses here. Not too expensive here on the market. They were about 600, 700 million. Very cheap. Hi Riley, hi Jenner. Very cheap, actually. And they're really not bad for DPS on their own. If you can't hear me very well, I don't know. Might be you. Yes, hello? Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, maybe. Let's see if I can find out. Maybe it's just the noise suppression giving me issues? I don't know. How about it, yeah, I have no idea why. Let's try this. How about that? Nope. Yeah, I've had a couple of people mention that I've been hard to hear. Is this a little bit better? Alright, cool. Let me at least get the noise suppressor on, and then that should fix it. Awesome. Yay! Hi, Trills. How you doing today? Alright, so, lightweight Corax offense. Thank you guys for letting me know. They're on the slower side for lightweight ships. Definitely on the slower side, but they do have much longer range. I don't really know how they managed to have, like, an accuracy fall off, because they really don't. But very cheap compared to many of the other options. You'll see here, we've actually got, like, a 27.2 kilometer optimal range and 1.4 fall off on the Corax. Not bad. You're looking pretty close to 30 kilometers of range on these. 1,500 meters a second right now, and that's down to, just skills. I could definitely get them upwards of 2,000 or a little bit more. But right now they're pretty average to most drones and fighters. They still share that 500 kilometer command range, so you can send them out pretty far unless you have this active. I believe this cuts some of the range off of them. Yeah, lightweight ship command range is reduced by 75%, so instead of 500 kilometers, you'd be at 125? Yeah, definitely a bit slower. Wow, the Marshall sold for 140 billion. Jeez. And the only way you're gonna have this active is by getting a whole lot of skills. Let me see if I can pull up that list. You'll see here, all of these team combat skills, will stack pretty heavily on this module, but, in order to actually get this thing to cycle all the time, you need the team combat through expert, you need mothership defense coordination through expert, and I believe you need one other thing. Nah, just those two. All the way 555 through expert. So definitely need to work on that on my end. Once I do, I should have some really good CPS output and some better mobility on the fighters. Lightweight ships. I'm gonna get that confused all the time. Lucent Moon does have some pretty good resistance, across the board. I am buffing the EM and the shield amount right now with a 70% integration. Enforcer is a great ship. I think it's better than any other cruiser right now. Way better. But once I can get the defense rig system for the shield refactoring, I should be upwards of about 1,000,000 shield hit points. And that's gonna be a significant buff to our survivability. Something you'll also note about Lucent Moon when you go into any of the lightweight ships or the fighters, you really don't need to care much about, like, the Logi drone skill. The Force Auxiliary skill you should skill into eventually. It'll at least let you get the Shield Command Burst Strength and the Skirmish Command Burst Strength. Both are very nice to have. We're going to be doing labs today. So we're going to fit our... a little bit over tanked, actually. We definitely don't need this much tank to do labs. But I really didn't know what else to throw on there. This is my fit that I've been using for helping my corp with the Sansha event. So yeah. So here is the lightweight ship refactoring hangar. It gives us a 37.5% damage boost to the lightweight ships, and gives us 15% flight velocity. It takes away our 5 launch tubes for the Logi drones, and gives us 4 destroyer bays instead. Yes, these are prototype damage modules. They are not swarms. I would like to own swarms, but they're about 30 billion on the market, whereas the prototypes are 3.5. I actually bought them at like 2 billion yesterday. One thing to note is I think I would rather remove one of these capacitor control circuits and put on a inertia modifier to make this thing warp a little bit quickly. We've also got the Logi Support Tactical Module. Yes, we do use this. Before the recent buffs, having this module really only let you lock on a little bit quicker, and it was just completely worthless. The ship has a decent lock-on time, but not nearly as good as when you have the additional buff from this. The main reason we really have this module is that 30% capacitor recharge time. That will mean that we can use this ship without a Nosferatu to stabilize it. Ooh, interesting. I thought it'd be a lot higher. For 30 billion, that's, kind of rough on the numbers. Anyway, so we're really using this for the 30% capacitor recharge time so we can fit other modules in our mid slot. Yes, the Sancha anomalies, in terms of the recurring event that spawns every 8 or so hours, it will be there for the rest of our time unless they decide to remove it in the long forgotten future. It is the only way for us to get our hands on Ascendant Sancho Capital Rex. But yeah, so this is a highly important module. The next one we have here is the Crucible Capital Shield Field module. This is the new shield field module for capital ships. Lucent Moon in particular has the flexibility to use either the shield field module or the armor, what's it called? Like the armor, I can't remember completely, but the armor field module equivalent, gives us an interesting boost, reduces our flight velocity quite a bit, increases our shield resistance by 23%, makes us stuck on grid, gives us a huge signature radius, means we're easier to hit and deal damage to. We are going to get like an increased remote repair effect, and it's also, on top of the shield resistance, it's also going to reduce the amount of damage that's incoming from outside of the bubble. Now, this bubble is 30 kilometers, so anything inside the bubble will do standard damage to us. Everything outside of the bubble will do heavily reduced damage. I mean, you're looking at almost 50% in terms of resistance plus damage reduction. The downside to this module here, the real downside to this module is having the reduction to shield booster repair amount. That is your personal shield booster, and why a ship like Lucent Moon benefits much more so from a sort of passive fit with maybe an ally nearby remote repping it if it wants to be completely tanky. We really won't have any reason to actually use this module other than just to show off the buffs that it gives to us. Next up, we have the Shield Command Burst. This we will use actively. An additional 8% shield res and 11.12% shield amount without any strength bonuses. Remember, we do get remote shield boost and shield command burst strength from the Force Auxiliary command skill. So when I get that, this will be a little bit better on the numbers. It'll probably put me somewhere close to 7 million or 6.5 million resistance. EHP, sorry. 6.5 million EHP with just this module. We don't really even need it for the remote shield booster or the shield booster capacitor need. Although it is nice if you have a Logi nearby that can keep you alive. Alright, and then finally we have our Skirmish Command Burst. This is just gonna make our lightweight ships fly a little bit faster. And give our lightweight ships a little bit better stasis web of fire, if I recall correctly. Alright, so let's go ahead and show off our Sun Chaser engine. You'll come up here to the map. And what you want to do, if you ever wonder about how far you can actually jump, you can select your current location, which for me is Fart. You're going to hit Jump Simulation Start. You're going to select your destination, Jump Simulation Destination. It'll tell you the distance, that is. In high sec, Sun Chaser can go 6 light years. That is a significant distance. You're talking about going from Farent, which is only 3 jumps from Gina. Where is Gina here? In the middle of all this mess. It's somewhere up here. There it is. So Gina takes you to Perimeter and then to Farent, or Ian Orsta and then Farent. So within about 4 jumps, you can get yourself to Clortler. So we're going to select Clortler. We know it's within range. We have the fuel. So now we're going to hit jump to system. It's going to tell us it'll take 5 seconds. We're going to go ahead and jump. 3 seconds, and off we go. It'll use half of our capacitor. And what should have taken us 15 jumps has now only taken us a total of 5.
Autopilot engaged.
Here we'll get to see how slow the Lucent Moon is to warp compared to like Shanghai or Cyan. Cyan and Shanghai are very, very quick to warp. They look like Formula 1 compared to this thing. This thing's like like a U-Haul. You're not going anywhere quick, and if you go around the corner a little too quickly, you're probably going to end up on your side. You see here, we're still not really that close to our warp.
Warp drive active. Destination docking request accepted.
Alright, and that puts us in station. Station is a little bit messed up. Still. They really should just put Lucent Moon in the super carrier hangar. That way you can see everything. Alright, let's have a look at the implant we're using today. We are going to be using the Aerospace Tactics. We do have Aerospace Tactics Precision Enhancement, which gives us a little bit better drone tracking and drone range. That does apply to our Lucent lightweight ships. Next we have the General Fire Control System. This applies to our prototype modules for damage modules. We're going to lose a little bit of our explosion velocity and explosion radius, but we're going to gain 18% damage. And that is raw damage. It's also going to increase our activation time a little bit, meaning we use less capacitor over time. After this, it's really up to you. If you're doing labs like we're doing today, I really suggest going for the combat technique. That way you can have your faster flight velocity. Although if you're going up against capital ships, like the Sancha stuff, you're going to want that extra 10% damage. And the flight velocity really doesn't matter as much. Next up, I'm pretty sure this does nothing for us, but I do have the Mothership Command Module general units. This is more so for my super carrier, the Wyvern. Not so much for the Lucent Moon. And then we have a shield extender efficiency, which we are also not utilizing. I am working on trying to get this up to level 40. So that way I can put the fighter module, the fighter general unit on here. It'll just be a little bit better. And then the last thing we've got here, we're going to be using the recovery technique. It'll give us 10% flight velocity on our lightweight ships, and a 15-kilometer recovery range. Not really necessary for what we're doing, but nice to have. Then we have tactical defense, which I do have the ship shield recharge on here. Gives us 4% less shield, but we have a 12% faster shield recharge time. Very important. I would like to get the shield amount one for this at some point. That way it can offset that shield reduction there. And then we have the best of both worlds. After that, we are using the projectile weapon avoid chance. Although it would be nice to be running this one right now. Only because the Sansha event will have a 5% extra resistance to their weapon damage, and we're going to get 7.5% faster capacitor recharge time. So it is definitely an important thing to check what's going on around you and look what options you have for upgrades. This particular tactical defense can only go up to level 25. I do need to get a gold one so I can get it to level 45 eventually. If I do go up any higher, I'm thinking I would just go for the target defense passive skill. Just so that during the Sancha stuff, I get a 5% damage resistance to the fighters that they're sending at me. And if, like, a Cyan spawns, I can deal with that a little bit easier as well. We're already way over-tanked for a Cyan spawn. It's more now just trying to focus on working around the Sansha event, since that is significantly more difficult. Alright, so I think that covers our entire fit. We are in Cortler now, and I have 3 labs that I'll be doing.
Undocking.
And more if we can do it, and then maybe I'll jump into Sansha when it spawns, or if it spawns in high sec.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
Something that I always personally do is I make sure my resistance modules are active as often as possible. I'm not gonna need the extra large shield field module that often, but I will probably end up using the swarm carrier defense module at least a few times today. Something to note is that if you do go with the lightweight ship Lucent Moon, this swarm carrier defense module can be put on a tactical super carrier. That would be things like the Midgard, the Rahab, the Superbia, and the Hades. So you would save yourself a lot of ISK much later on if you went with this. You would also have a lot of the skills for the lower tier lightweight ships. Honestly, if you can pay the 3 billion, just do it. It is so important to have that
Warp
tactical
drive
defense
active.
module, implant. You're talking about getting up to 30%, shield and armor strength, and 9%, up to 15% armor or shield boost repair, and, up to 30% capacitor warfare and weapon disruption resistance. Very, very useful. Alright, So one thing to note about the destroyers, they are incredible at applying damage to small ships. You can see we're just kind of tearing through them. And most of that is because it has a web of fire on each of these fighters. Or lightweight ships. So they're going to be applying a 41% flight velocity reduction. We actually cleared it out pretty quick, which is a problem. It's trying to think. It was not ready for that. What happened here? What's he going? What's he doing? Hello? Yeah, so we're just waiting on the spawn. Not really sure why. Anyway, so as I was saying, each of these lightweight ships has a web on it, which makes the damage apply just that little bit better. Let's go ahead and show you our current stats without the Swarm Carrier Defense module and without the Shield Field module. We have about 16,000 DPS right now, but we're applying that damage incredibly good. We are also sitting at about 5.3 million EHP with 87% damage resistance. And this is actually clearing things out a lot faster than my Cyan would. Or my Shanghai, to be honest. The only thing the Cyan and the Shanghai have over the Lucent Moon is the Star Melody nanocore. This ship is currently not using any nanocore, but the only nanocores that are viable for it are the Termina Echo lightweight ship, Lucent Moon nanocore, or the Starbreak nanocore. On a passive fit, the Starbreak nanocore is generally going to be a lot better option. But if you're pretty much only using this in high sec, which you probably will be anyway, the Termina Echo lightweight ship nanocore is incredibly good for DPS. You can see here, we're just one-shotting all of the small ships. And we are very nearly 2 or 3-shotting the battle cruisers in a much faster time than we would have on anything else. And honestly, I'm tempted because everything is spawning within about 30 kilometers. I am tempted to just activate the implant, get a little bit better application here, and watch them rip through everything. I mean, yeah, you're reducing the flight velocity, but now you've got a 38-kilometer optimal range and almost 2-kilometer accuracy falloff. And actually, I'm having trouble keeping up with the lock time here. Explosion radius, incredibly small. 20 meters is like nothing. And then you have a 353 meter a second explosion velocity on the lightweight core axes. It's just so good now. Lightweight ships and Lucent Moon in general have had a lot of buffs since they were released. And now they're in a really good spot. It used to be that it was kind of a tie between the ships, Cyan and Lucent. But now Lucent stands pretty clearly above all of the high-sec ships. And that was a 4 millionist lab. Real quick, let me show you. Hi Snoopy, how you doing today? What our stats are when we activate the Swarm Carrier Defense module, which is active currently for 66 seconds before it has a 220 second cooldown for me. Puts us at 7.5 million EHP and 18,000 damage. If we go ahead and activate the Shield Field module, which you'll see is this giant blue bubble, we're now at about 10 million EHP, 9.4 to be exact, with 92% across the board on resistance. We do have a little bit lower DPS though. But it's good. It is incredibly powerful. Then it'll have a 120 second cooldown if you turn it off. This will have a 220 second cooldown. Yeah, if Lucent Moon ever gets, like, faction or empire bonuses from rank and merit, oh man. Alright, I am warping to the next one here. This next one will be a 5.5 million lab.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
Once again, it does take a while to get this thing to warp. But the stats are really good. I'm very happy with it. It is quite a significant increase in capability. I wish. But no, I could not. Not without, like, a fax repairing me, at least. I think if I had a fax repairing me, I could easily tank a showdown. Especially in its current nerfed version. Showdowns are not nearly what they used to be.
Warp drive active.
Something you could consider if you are in high sec like Clortler, drop one of these red resistance modules and put on a micro warp drive, a capital micro warp drive.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
We're just gonna go ahead and activate the implant because it's much faster for them to start blasting away when they're right next to me than it is for them to chase things down. Yeah, that was incredible. The first showdown we ever did. Absolutely amazing. I think they should have kept it like that.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
Interesting resistance to damage that Dominix is having right now. So one of the most important things about laboratory missions, if you want to get a good bounty tick, you need to have something that clears out small ships very quickly. It's part of the reason why something like Star Melody is so important for PvE bounty ticks. The fact that it'll just get rid of small ships nearly instantly, really makes a huge difference.
We're under attack.
Things like these lightweight ships are applying so much actual damage to small ships and pretty much one-shotting them as soon as they target. And actually, that was a cruiser we just one-shot. I can save my, stuff here. Yeah, I mean, really, the showdowns are quite a disappointment now. Previously, it was actually, like, really hard and needed a fleet. Now you just need, like, 4 ships.
We're under attack.
I would still recommend having, like, Force Auxiliary, but it can be done without. It is only 2 waves for the showdown now instead of 3, and it's like half the enemies. You can see here, something funny about lightweight ships is sometimes they will just split DPS on you. Can't really explain why they do that once in a while, they just do. You're still traumatized. So the next time this cycles, I want to see what the web range is on the Coraxes. Because the web range is currently 21 kilometers. If I am correct that this actually buffs the web range, then we should go down to like 20.5 or something like that.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Okay, let's see here.
We're under attack.
Nope, it does not affect it. Let's see, flight velocity is 215. Still 215. So yeah, swarm. So the skirmish command burst is not helping. Or at least it's not showing that it's helping. Hey Raptor, how you doing tonight? I feel like it should apply, but it doesn't seem to. Ooh, nice. Every once in a while, there's a battleship that takes a little bit of time to kill. And it's only because the lightweight ships are cycling one shot at a time here. Yeah, I'm thinking I will probably drop the swarm or the skirmish command burst and go for maybe just a Nosferatu. That way I know I'm gonna be okay. A target painter would be alright, not really necessary. A grappler could be really nice. Once again, not really necessary. I could also replace it with a... Oop, okay. So that was the end of that one there.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
And there we go, a 56 million bounty tick. A little bit lower than what we get out of Sancha. See if I can roll for another lab. Yep, we've got 2 more labs we can do here. On top of the one I'm warping to. Yeah, yeah, I'm the one that made that. It doesn't really work. It shows it on your profile, though.
Warp drive active.
We'll go ahead and grab that. Alright, so we're gonna have 4 labs in a row.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yeah, I'm thinking a salvager, an integrated salvager. Will be what I replaced the skirmish command burst with. I do have to get another integrated salvager, so, ugh.
Enemy ships detected.
But it's fine.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
So you might be wondering why I went with the core axes. And there's really only one answer that I actually have for you, is that I was skilled into Destroyer Command here, along with small missile skills. So you'll see here I have 555 on all of the small missile torpedo skills.
Enemy ships detected.
And that buffs the
We're
damage
under
that
attack.
these lightweight ships are
We're
doing.
under attack.
Yeah, the passive fit is actually just like probably way too powerful for what we're intending to do here. I might do something with the Night Crow. I did think about buying one recently. How low are they now? Yep. Labs are really good for just kind of leaning back and enjoying PvE. It's mostly just AFK. You gotta activate your modules, but that's fine. It's not quite like using AI, where you can just let your phone go for 8 hours and your battleship will farm everything. But it is significantly more income doing it this way.
Enemy ships detected.
So this is the fit that I am using for the Sancha content currently. I do fly in fleets for Sancha, so I have yet to be able to solo one. I wish. I wish, but I couldn't. I don't have the 100 million EHP that you do. As funny as that would be, I don't need to be losing a ship worth... What is the IP now? 54,000 IP. 108 without any sort of reduction. The actual value of the ship that I am flying is contract value at 175 billion ISK. So if you do want to get into a Lucent Moon, you are going to be eating through your billions of ISK. And it is one of the few reasons why I recommend starting with a cyan. The cyan is easily a third of the cost.
Enemy ships
Um,
detected. We're under attack. We're under
but
attack.
you don't have the capabilities that Lucent Moon has. Lucent Moon has tanking capabilities way above and beyond what Cyan and Shanghai can do. Especially now that it gets the shield field modules. And then it also has the flexibility of whatever hangar you want to use, whether it be lightweight ship, fighters, or force auxiliary. It has a Sun Chaser engine, which I showed off earlier, where I was able to jump from Farrant to Flortler, completely skipping the low sec areas. It allows you to jump 6 light years in high sec, meaning you can get around events a lot faster. And you can see here, like, 16,000 DPS is going pretty well. This is actually much better time for clearing than what you would get out of like Cyan or Lucent Moon, or Cyan or Shanghai. I really don't have a very good comparison to the Navy carriers, but I really don't want to compare this ship to the Navy carriers because any day they could decide that Navy carriers are not allowed in high sec. So I want to stick with the comparisons between Cyan, Shanghai, and Lucent Moon because we know they will always have access to high sec, since that's what they were based around. Oh man, if they ever took the high sec capability away from the capital ships, meaning Lucent Moon, Cyan, Shanghai, and the Navy carriers, you're talking about
Warp drive active.
a good 10% of their player base that would have to move every ship from high sec to low sec or null sec.
We're under attack. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, the webs on the lightweight ships really do help a lot with applying damage to smaller ships.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Let's see, have we seen another bounty tick yet? No.
We're under attack.
You can see just how quickly these lightweight ships can tear through some of these frigates and destroyers. It is just incredibly fast. I don't care what fighters you have, you're not doing that reliably.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, you know it. Man, if you were to sell 2 marshals, like, in the next week, you'd be really well off for a while. You're talking about almost 300 billion ISK.
We're being warp scrambled.
With that kind of money, you can buy 3 of the 4. Actually, you can probably buy all 4 assault carriers. Because they're sitting about 75 to 95 billion each. If you get them on the lower end, you can pretty much buy all 4. Billion with a B. Lots of monies. Yeah, if marshals keep going up, my god.
Enemy ships
Yeah.
detected.
Eve Echo's pricing
We're under attack.
is definitely on the high end.
We're under attack.
And mostly because there's very few people actually producing anything. The cost of production is still really high for material cost. We're talking about, like, C70 and things like that, which are used for
We're being
a bunch of other materials. I mean, there's ways to mess them up. If they're not paying attention, you can bump them off and things like that. But, honestly, the miners in high-sec are not your problem. The problem is the current insurance system. I don't mind people getting their ships back from insurance. I think that's a good thing. But what insurance should do is buy up all of the materials on the market to make whatever ship it is. Instead of just putting up the price in Flex. It should cause material loss on the market. Or consumption. right now materials are pretty much being, like, duplicated by the insurance system.
Enemy ships detected.
I don't know how else to fix it or how to go about doing anything differently.
We're under attack.
But I would be okay if they cut all of the production cost of, like, capital ships in half, which is what EVE Online actually just recently did with their carriers. All of the carriers' production cost has been reduced by like 30% compared to what they used to be. So we'll see how that plays out.
We're being warp scrambled.
And I really love just being able to sit here in a capital ship and enjoy ISEC. It is really nice. Sometimes you do tend to forget how busy nullsec and lowsec can get. And how long it stays busy out there. So being able to fly a capital ship in HighSec and just do labs, make ISK, it's very important to capital ship players. You know, that's interesting. I think they should be able to. I do like the idea. And actually, what I think I want to do, now that you say it, because I was just thinking about it myself, let's go ahead and turn off the auto attack. Look at that, 72 million there. That's another good bounty tick. I'll show you in a minute, Jenner.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
Yeah, I think I want to show off these weapons splitting damage here. Trigonometry weapon? No. No. It means splitting each of your weapon systems to their own target. In EVE Online, it is a very useful tactic for quick clears. EVE Echoes, it's actually usually more beneficial to keep all of your weapons together on the same target, whether they're cycling separately from each other or not. But you can really overpower forces by splitting your weapon damage.
Warp drive active.
I am wondering if maybe one day they will add like a lightweight ship implant that is specific to lightweight ships. Instead of having bombard or aerospace.
We're under attack.
And you can see, you can kind of just bully these enemies by clearing things, separately from each other.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack. Enemy ships detected.
Yeah, it's much harder on,
We're under attack.
like, lightweight ships because they do clear so quickly.
We're under attack.
Oh my. Yeah, Seawiz is technically auto-splitting.
Enemy ships detected.
Kinda does the same thing.
We're under attack. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
The best way around is just to kind of keep clicking around until things clear out. It's a lot more work than just keeping your ships together. But there is a little bit of benefit to it.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
We're gonna let them do their things again.
We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Almost forgot to lock everything up. Yeah. Can you imagine if Lucent Moon ended up with Seawiz? Go ahead and jump to this one next.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, even if Lucent Moon had one, um, Sea Whiz, it would be incredibly
Warp
overpowering.
drive active.
Like, we would have to have pre-nerf Sansha content in order to even test the Lucent Moon if it had a Sea Whiz on top of everything it already has.
We're under attack. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
So I'm not too familiar with how much range some of the other lightweight ships have, but I am very happy with the range on
Enemy
these
ships
Coraxes.
detected.
They are perfectly
We're
capable of
under
hitting
attack.
anything that spawns in these labs.
We're under attack. Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yeah, I think I just saw it. I'll have to actually read through all that. Okay. So it's only shared merit if you're in the same Empire faction. That makes a little bit more sense.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
One of the annoying things with team combat is the cost of everything. Plus, like, some of these require, Concord credit. That is super annoying.
Enemy
Wave
ships
5.
detected. We're under attack.
Of course, if this was a Cyan or Shanghai that I own, it would have Star Melanie, we would pop Star Melanie, and we would be out of this wave within 30 seconds. We're still going to be pretty quick in and out of this wave, but not 30 seconds quick. Although, it's not going too bad. Okay, we don't need that Logi support anymore. And we're actually gonna preemptively start warping as we complete that. What you're seeing me do here is I have my 4 alts here, Orion, Harmony, Ebony, and Cadet, T10. They're all sitting here in Cortler, recycling missions. And trying to get a laboratory mission to spawn. So that way I have constant labs for this ship to be running. If I was just running as a solo player, it is actually better off to have a decent battleship
Drive active.
than it would be to have just the one carrier. Because if you don't get a lab, you're already losing out on income. Yes, I do need another integrated salvager. I had to sell it to get this ship. But all is fair. We'll get another one soon enough. They're actually pretty cheap on the market right now.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yeah, we're missing out on a lot of income by not having that integrated salvager. Alright, let's see. So far we started today with 3,053,000,000. We're up to 3.3 billion.
We're under attack.
As of right now. 3.4 billion actually. And we've only been going for about an hour and a half. So really not that bad. High-sec is still plenty of income, you just need to know how to get there. That's gonna require multiple people rolling for laboratory missions. It's gonna be either battleships or a carrier. But you can get there.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
This ship is also going to be very important for
Under attack.
Dormant Realm 3 runs. I don't know if I can do carries with this ship until I get the shield refactoring modification. But I do know that this ship should be capable of tanking it just fine. Just need a little bit more DPS. Fighter speed would also be very valuable. Or lightweight ship flight velocity would be very valuable. Because DR3 has a lot of things that will kind of spawn all over the place. IP, I did show it off earlier, but it is 54,000 at minimum compensation. IP estimation is 194 billion. The contract estimate is around 174 or 173 billion. I do have that posted under our Discord. There is a Discord thread called Lucent Moon Lounge, and we talk about various things Lucent Moon. It's completely incoherent. It looks like the ramblings of a madman in terms of thought, but it is a lot of information just about Lucent Moon and what we're doing with it and how it's going so far. So when you're looking at lightweight ships versus fighters, lightweight ships are 3 times more skill demanding than fighters are. Fighters are not as effective. If you take a max skill fighter next to max skill lightweight ships are going to be much more capable and flexible as well. They have a lot of benefits going for them: high DPS, high damage. They've got webs, scrams, things like that. But the problem with the lightweight ships is the skill gap on them is so much more than what fighters have.
Enemy ships detected.
I mean, you're talking about needing lightweight ship skills. You're talking about needing, on the Lucent Moon in particular, you need the destroyer skills, the small weapon skills for the destroyer weapon of your choice. So in this case, my weapon choice was Coraxes, so they use small missiles. Then you're also looking at the skills for the Swarm Carrier Defense Module, and all of that, just to get the maximum capability out of your lightweight ships. Yeah, I did see that. I think you guys should be quite high, actually. Yeah, 34, 43, yeah. 34,000 and 43,000 DPS. That's pretty crazy. Like, I'm about a quarter of the way to your DPS. And I probably have, like, a third of the skills. The other 2/3 of the skills that I don't have, that revolve around this module, really, really benefit the ship. I mean, you're talking about going another 16,000 DPS easily. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to fly a lightweight ship, Lucent Moon, it is extraordinarily cost prohibitive. It's really for people in the end game, for the most part, that have spent their time learning the different ships, spent their time skilling into small ships, medium ships, things like that, and want to end up in something like the Midgard, for example, or Rahab. This could be your endgame high-sec ship, and that would be fine, if that is your choice.
Autopilot destination reached.
But definitely you're gonna have to spend a lot of time grinding to make the ISK for this ship. And then when you get this ship, you're gonna have to spend a whole lot more time grinding skill points and ISK to get it fitted and ready to go. Say, we got another 5.5 there, we got another 5 million there. It's just a lot better if someone was to step into a Cyan, start making ISK with the Cyan, and then move up to something like the Lucent Moon.
Warp drive active.
We're under attack.
Yep. There we go.
We're under attack. Enemy ships detected.
It is kind of a viable option, except the fact that Lucent Moon is currently at 90 billion, which it kind of floats around anywhere between 60 billion and 90 billion. And the hangar is an additional, like, 10 billion. Whereas Cyan, you can pretty comfortably step into for about 70 billion or 80 billion. So, if you're willing to spend that 20, 30, 40 billion ISK difference to get yourself a Lucent Moon first,
Enemy ships detected.
it's still a fine choice. But in order to actually use the Lucent Moon for PvE, you have to have the hangar.
We're under
The
attack.
Cyan you can use without the hangar, and you'll do just fine. And you also have lower quality hangars as well that you can upgrade. It's not just the damage mod and the hangar that you change up from fighter to lightweight ship. You also need to acquire one of these, which buffs your lightweight ships quite a bit, which is 20 billion. It's not completely necessary unless you want to do, like, really endgame stuff, and you still need to skill into it.
We're under attack.
Yeah, the shield refactoring mod, I'm glad it's not necessary. But it is really important if you want to do, once again, like, endgame content. Lucent Moon has so many upgrades that you can do it. It is a perfectly fine endgame ship to work toward, but by no means should it ever be your first carrier. Cyan is a much better first carrier. Hell, even the Archon, Thanatos, Nidhogger, and Chimera are better first carriers than a Lucent Moon. Just because you can use them out the box instead of having to get the fighter hangar or the lightweight ship hangar in order to just use the Lucent Moon for PvE. Otherwise, you're stuck with standard drones, and that's not a viable option. Why would you fly a Lucent Moon with, like, guards? It just doesn't make sense. There are significantly cheaper options, such as a Dominic's Navy issue. Come on, Jenner, you know you want to make a 10,000 DPS Lucent Moon with large drones. I know you do. Yeah, when the Lucent Moon first released, the lightweight ship hangar was like really cheap. Now it's incredibly expensive. Come on, you gotta get 2 more Lucent Moons, 1 for drones, and 1 for fighters. You've gotta have every flavor. Which, now I've got a meme in my head.
Warp drive active.
Let me see if I can find a good image.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yeah, 31,000 damage. Brilliant. Jeez. True though. Okay, I gotta send this to Jinner.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
Thank you for the gifted sub, Jenner.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
I could tank a capital raid. I just cannot kill the Ascendant. That's the only problem I have right now is DPS. Otherwise it would be just fine. The shield recharge and healing on the Ascendants is just a little too much. But yes, I could tank a Sancha capital raid just fine. Yeah, I am almost there. I just need the skills for the Swarm Carrier Defense module, and I think I'll be there.
We're under attack.
Yeah, almost all of my DPS is just wrapped up in the Swarm Carrier Defense module. Unfortunately. But once I have those skills, we should be really well off for DPS. Especially once it's active 24/7. It is not. As far as Jinner and I can tell, it is certainly not worth paying the 30 billion ISK for it.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
You're paying 10 times the cost for like 3,000 extra DPS.
We're under attack.
I think in the future for this ship, I want to go ahead and do like a
We're
3P
under attack.
80% integration with EM thermal and shield amount.
We're under attack.
Yeah, you're talking about the swarm upgrade. Where is it? Weapon upgrades. The swarm general fire control system. 34 billion
We're
on
under
each one.
attack.
When you're getting 3.7 normally.
We're
So this will
under
give you a
attack.
16% damage bonus. Without skills, this is a 14% damage bonus. It's really not worth it. Oh, hey, we have a NPC Cyan on grid. Would you look at that? Actually, what I want to do is unlock that Cyan, and I'll work on actually killing the fighters and things.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Good. And I will actually try to kill all the
Under
fighters,
attack.
because I want the higher income. Man, I wasn't even paying attention. I just looked down and saw my health a bit lower and went, huh, there must be something on grid. And then I saw the fighters. Okay, so all of the main ships have been taken care of. Let's go ahead and start taking care of the fighters.
We're under attack.
You can see here, it's not even pushing
We're under attack.
like the tank on this ship. We're actually out healing
We're under attack.
because we keep taking out these fighters so quickly. They can barely get DPS on us before we kill them.
We're under attack.
It's just like a complete fiasco here.
We're under attack.
And yes, we are killing the fighters because they are giving us bounty for each one that we kill. You can see there, 400,000 every time we kill a fighter.
We're under
I love
attack.
getting a Cyan on stream. It's a lot of fun. You can see here, we're not even having, like, capacitor issues. It is more than fine. This is actually its last set of fighters here. After this, it's a DPS race on the ship itself. Actually, I may choose... Nah, it's fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and let our fighters do their things. I'll release them from their aerospace bonds so they can web the Cyan. And now we'll go ahead and increase the DPS for 66 seconds. Right now we are working with about 18,400, and it's enough. Yeah, I mean, to get that swarm module, the blueprint is under the exchange, loyalty exchange, I believe. Yep, 400,000. So I could get three of those blueprints pretty easily. We are kind of fighting the shield booster, and the 30% shield recharge rate right now on the Cyan. So it does take a little bit more time than usual to get through that last 30% of shield, but once you're through there, it's fine. And we should start doing quite a bit more damage here in just a minute. Yeah, 220-second cooldown is really rough without skills. You can see there, once you get through the shield of the Cyan, you really start doing some hefty damage. Cyan itself is worth 16 million on bounty. So if you include that plus the 20 or so waves of fighters, you're at about 20 million. On bounty alone. You can see here, passive fit, more than enough to handle him. I even ignored him for a while. But very good to see that we actually got one of these. The unfortunate part is I am way too slow to go and grab that loot. So I am actually going to jump into one of my Raven Strikers and see if I can warp out there and grab that. It's something I can do as well, is grab a ship and loot behind me. It just takes a lot more effort, and I'm just not in for it. Let me show you what I'm working with here. There we go. So we've got the Raven Striker warping out. This is my standard AI Raven. Nothing special. Just DPS for days. Hello. I mean, it'd be interesting if it got a fighter drop, but it's unlikely.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
Ah, I forgot I have to wait for that.
Autopilot destination reached.
More likely, we'll just get like a standard module and, I don't know, maybe a wreck. I hope one day your Cobra can kill an NPC Cyan.
Warp
They
drive
are
active.
tough. Alright, let's see what loot we got. We're at 10 kilometers now. Alright, we got Caldari carrier debris and Mark 9 tracking disruptor, just as I thought.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
I'm glad we were able to show off the, Cyan spawn. That's always nice to show. We should have a really good bounty tick on that as well.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yep. I wonder how many people are actually using marshals to AI farm. It's a very expensive ship to be doing that with. Not like it can't handle it, but you'll get similar results out of cheaper ships.
Enemy ships detected.
Especially since AI doesn't activate any of the fuel-based modules, other than group shield boosters for whatever reason. No, I don't know. I know they can't be AI upgraded yet, or gold core yet. I mean, Marshall can die. It has happened before.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
Alright, so this will be the last laboratory mission that I have for today. I did have one more spawn, but... Actually, I had two more spawn. Oh, another 5.5. Maybe I do the 5.5, I don't know. Alright, another 65 million. Plus another 50 from our bounty tick. So long as the Cyan, Lucent Moon, Shanghai, or any of the Navy carriers have constant access to missions, it is just fine. But they do need constant access. Yeah, I've got to move this ship back to Jeddah and buy some fuel and stuff, so this will probably be the last mission I do. Especially on stream.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
It's just hard to pass up a 5.5 million-ish lab when there's just that small chance. Oh god, don't do that. Can you repackage it? I mean, flying for Lucent Moon is more like a hop, skip, and a jump with Sun Chaser. Now, I have a feeling you're gonna be back in a lightweight ship super again. At some point. all I can say about Lucent Moon right now, as an overall experience, overview, whatever, is that Lucent Moon went from being kinda like the counterpart to Cyan to now being extremely powerful compared to any other high-sec ship available in the game. And it feels good. It is definitely where this ship wanted to be when it was first released. And I think it is a perfectly viable, but expensive, ship to fly. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, and be safe.